there are parts of ourselves that we find shameful, that we keep buried, the shadow parts, where we feel like if someone knew, they would reject us.
It starts to feel a little bit like
a void.
You have these characters who feel so lost, so broken, and that they failed so severely.
All have things that we regret.
No, but I have so many.
We all want to experience happiness and joy. And when you have enough sustained time without that, that's when you go to the places that the people around you don't want you to go to.
As someone who has spent time in the void, this movie was so powerful for me. Connection is the opposite of loneliness. We need people to pull us back from the brink.
I promise you it will feel lighter.
How do you know?
Because it already has for me.
The answer for all the characters in the film is the same, which is we need unconditional love. Everything you're going through, I see it, I still want to be around you.
I'm here. You're not alone.
Because you can't fix yourself by hating yourself.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy, that is...
Jonathan Decker, a licensed therapist who loves movies. What's going on today, man?
I would like to have you react to a film, because you're a therapist and you react to things, and the film is Thunderbolts!
Ooh, I loved Thunderbolts. To me, it represented, like, between Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, I actually have some semblance of hope.
Some hope for Marvel?
This movie was so good.
So good. And freaking right down the middle for our show.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with mental health crises. We got funny jokes.
Yeah.
We got Florence Pugh just pewing all over the place.
No, please don't.
Dr. Phil, that was really beautiful.
Hey, do I get to talk about shadow work, please?
Yes, you get to talk about shadow work a lot.
Okay.
Because, spoiler, shadows figure prominently in this.
All right, let's dive in.
Boom. One of the things I love is the production design, and like the wardrobe is even selling this, right? She's bored. She's wearing what? Tactical gear? No, gray sweats. Everything's gray. This is almost monochromatic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and it serves this narrative purpose, right? You have like Tom Cruise on the Burj Khalifa in Mission Impossible, and everything's bright and colorful, and Brad Birdie.
God,
Yeah.
you know?
And here she jumps off the building and doesn't care.
And then we get to see this, which, hi, we're foreshadowing things.
Right.
With actual shadows. It's foreshadowing.
Oh my
Get
gosh.
it?
Are there 4 guards? I hope so.
I thought that throwing myself into work was the answer. But I'm not focused, and I'm not happy, and I don't have purpose. And without purpose, I'm just drifting like a river.
So what's going on with Yelena? Depression. The film isn't specifying where it's coming from just yet. We know some of it. If you've been following Marvel, her sister's dead. And we later see that she is detached from her father figure and just going through the motions of life, but she doesn't feel purposeful. But it's interesting that you talk about the shadows and we're foreshadowing with actual shadows. So let me give a definition of shadow work really fast because we'll dive deeper into it.
Yes.
Shadow work is based on Jungian psychology, and the notion is there are parts of ourselves that we find shameful, that we keep buried, the shadow parts, the parts that we don't want to listen to, the things that our darkest desires, or the things that we are embarrassed about, or we feel like if someone knew, they would reject us. So those are the shadows, and shadow work is making peace with those parts of yourself, making friends and loving those parts of yourself.
Hey, remember that doctor's appointment you were supposed to make a while ago?
That one you meant to book, but then got sidetracked and completely forgot about.
You know, the follow-up for the medical trial that you were a part of?
It was supposed to make me better. Or to get fitted for a new bionic arm.
Or foot cramp recovery for not being able to fit into Steve Rogers' shoes?
Why not book it today? ZocDoc makes it easy to find the right doctor right now, and it's all online.
You'll probably be able to book an appointment before the end of this ad.
ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors and click instantly to book an appointment.
Faster than disappearing into the void.
Yeah, they make it so easy to find and book a doctor near you.
We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty.
From mental health to dental health.
Eye care to skin care and much more.
And when you're searching for a doctor, you can filter for the ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and who treat basically any condition you're searching for.
You can also see their actual appointment openings,
Choose a time slot that works for you,
and click to instantly book a visit.
plus ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking.
A lot of the time you can even score a same-day appointment.
Since I just moved to the area, I'm going to use ZocDoc to find and book great doctors near me.
So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/cinematherapy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/cinematherapy.
ZocDoc with a Z. ZocDoc.com/cinematherapy.
I think everyone's better off if I just stay put.
We're going to be getting into some dark
I
places in this
understand.
episode.
We all feel like sometimes. And loneliness, I get that. I get it. And that darkness gets pretty enticing. And then it starts to feel a little bit like...
A void.
Yep. A void.
The emptiness.
What do you do about it?
You shove it way down. You just push it down.
That's great. That's really good advice.
You're welcome.
Man, such great work from both of them.
You guys done with therapy yet? I think I found a way out.
Walker's such an asshat.
We're all alone. All of us. Let's just stick together until we make it to the surface, and after that, you can start a fight with a super soldier, get yourself killed. I don't care. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
As you said, we're going to go to some dark places in this episode.
Yeah.
Because this is a healing film. And just like It's a Wonderful Life, you don't get the uplift without the despair.
2 hours of...
Yeah, and so you have these characters who feel so lost, so broken, and that they failed so severely that there's no coming back from it. And yet there is. And the thing that I love most when you talk about this being straight down the line for our show is the way they resolve all of that is accurate to real life psychology, to real life family therapy work. And what is needed first and foremost is connection. And Yelena's offering that to Bob right now. It's not something that he's really had.
Right.
He's a science experiment. Nobody's really cared about him. Nobody's treated him like a human being. And here she comes saying, oh, it takes one to know one. I see someone dealing with the void, dealing with the emptiness. I know what that feels like, and I'm here for you.
And of course, her advice here is clearly she's joking. He understands it's a joke, but, you know, just push it way down. push down, hide it.
Well, it's a joke, but it's also what she does. And the
Correct.
reason it's what she does is she doesn't know what else to do. So she's acknowledging, oh yeah, it's a crap plan, but I don't have anything better yet.
These are the tools I've got.
Right.
And to your point, you can see, and this is what makes Florence Pugh just the freaking best. When he asks her, how do you deal with it? You can see on her face, oh shit, I don't know. Joke time. That's the thing that makes actors absolutely brilliant, is in very small and subtle ways, they let you see everything that they're thinking and everything that they're feeling.
When she says the darkness gets enticing, why is that? We all collectively want to experience happiness and joy.
Yep.
And when you have enough sustained time without that, and you feel like you're never going to get it back, that's when you go to the places that the people around you don't want you to go to.
You can trust me, Bob.
Can I?
No, not really.
I love the honesty.
I've always had these episodes since I was a kid. There's a high, and there's a big low, and then my memory just goes blank. But this time I feel like there's, I don't know, something bad happened, or I did something bad.
I mean, everyone here has done bad things.
I think this is like a whole new kind of...
Yeah. Lights up.
I'm a big believer in everything we go through empowers us to help others. Everything that we suffer increases our understanding of suffering and can therefore increase either our hopeless apathy or our compassionate responsiveness. And sometimes it depends on the day.
It does.
Sometimes all you have is disconnected apathy because You can either feel nothing or you can feel something, but if you feel something, it's going to be terrible. So you just kind of like...
Just pick nothing.
But Yelena right here is in a compassionate place of, this guy seems sweet. He's going through something really, really hard that I don't fully understand. But not only am I going to keep him alive, I'm going to be his friend. Because she needs a friend, not just selfless connection. She needs someone. And here's like a like-minded soul who's going through a similar thing, and this is why we have group therapy.
Yeah.
This is why group therapy is so powerful, and especially when it comes to depression and shadow work, is because people need acceptance. They need belonging. They need to say, hey, everything you're going through, I see it, I still want to be around you. And that's beautiful and it's powerful. When he talks about, I have highs and I have really low lows, and then I have like memory loss. I would be interested because... I have a degree in psychology, but my chosen field is family therapy. So any of our psychologists, because I know the beginning of that is bipolar.
Sure. Yeah.
Highs, lows. The memory loss, to me, feels more like plot device given his circumstances and the experiments and everything.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Is that a real diagnosis or is that Marvelization?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So comorbidity means two diagnoses happening at the same time. Mm-hmm. One thing is bipolar. If he has memory loss, I don't know that it's related to the bipolar. But it could be, if there's suppression or repression of traumatic memories. I would love for our viewers who are in the field of psychology to chime in and fill in the gaps of what I'm missing here.
Yes, please do.
Daddy, I'm so alone. I don't have anything anymore. All I do is sit and look at my phone and think of all the terrible things that I've done, and then I go to work, and then I drink. And then I come home to no one, and I sit and I think about all the terrible things I've done again and again, and I go
Stop.
crazy.
We all have things that we regret.
No, but I have so many. My first test at the Red Room, Anya, she was just a child. She was so small.
So are you. I know. There were dark times, very, very dark times, but before, you were such a special little girl. Did you know this? You walked into a room, you made it brighter. You felt a lot of joy.
I don't remember that feeling.
You were so kind. Do you remember why you want to be goalie on your terrible soccer team?
So I didn't have to run as much.
Maybe that too, but you told me I want to be the one everyone can rely on if they make a mistake. That Lena is still in you.
This is such a powerful scene. Like, we should be doing some commentary over it, but literally every line is
I
important.
don't.
You're stuck, you're alone, you look only at the bed. When I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
And then she goes, okay, that was pretty good.
Pretty good. One of the things that I love about this is we have a bunch of characters who are losers.
These are defective losers.
Except Bucky, who's awesome and a congressman.
Well, but Bucky, he's further down the same road that everyone else is on.
He's damaged. He's made it further down the road.
He's made it through his shame. Bucky's done his shadow work. I mean, that's, if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like that's the big thing of Bucky coming to terms with himself and making peace with himself. He's been down the path that they're on now.
One of the things that I love about this ensemble of characters is Red Guardian is definitely the biggest loser.
Yeah.
Out of all of them. Like,
Yeah.
he lives in a ratty apartment. He sits there watching old videos of him. Oh,
His glory days. Yeah.
It's Brezhnev. Get out of the way. You can't see my face. Amazing comedy stuff from David Harbour. He drives a shitty limo. Like, he is a loser. And he's the one who constantly has the optimism.
Yes! Yeah!
He's the one who sees the light inside of Yelena that she can't see for herself.
It comes across for a while as stupid naivety. Like
Until this scene.
and then you realize how much he's been hurting too. He's like, I thought you didn't want me.
Yeah.
That's why I stayed away. And so all of his optimism is trying to pick himself up every day and do the best he can. And I have felt this. I've felt this sometimes when we're shooting the show. I've definitely felt this as a parent, where I feel a lot of darkness and turmoil and weight inside of me. And what I present as and show up with, it's not a mask per se, as much as an effort to not let it drag me down.
Well, it's your favorite movie character of all time, right? Like, you have chosen, like, Waymond. I know how bad the world is.
Yeah. This is not naivety. This is strategic and necessary.
It's a choice.
And so for Red Guardian, he's very cheerful most of the time, because what happens if he's not? The writing on, I go to work, I come home to no one, I drink, I scroll my phone, I think of all the terrible things I've done, I finally fall asleep, and then I just do that every single day. When she delivers that line, I forgot that I was watching a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Because that just feels like so many people's lives right now. We feel so detached, we just get absorbed into our screens, and we ruminate on our mistakes. What I love about this band of misfits and miscreants, because none of them are Steve Rogers, none of them are just these upright, hasn't really done anything terrible, moral compass of, heart of gold. They're all people who are like, I suck and I hate myself.
Yeah.
And then finding a way to say, but I don't have to be who I was. I can choose to be something different, and whether or not I deserve love, I'm going to choose to give it and receive it, because the other alternative doesn't do any good for anybody. When he says, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's what's called grace. Now, grace is often used in like a theological or religious context, but psychologically, it's got a similar purpose, which is I'm giving you something out of love, regardless of whether you deserve it or not.
Right.
We have like a psychological meritocracy is how we function sometimes. Like, I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be loved. And it's like, well, here's the newsflash. We all suck.
Yep.
Everybody on the planet has hurt somebody they care about. Everybody on the planet has betrayed their values, made a huge mistake. And if you haven't, then just wait. You will.
It's coming.
Yeah, you will absolutely do it. And, okay, so what's the alternative? We no longer experience happiness, we no longer experience love, or we work through it to forgive, to take accountability, to grow, to become better, and to heal.
Yeah.
And that's the entire story of this film.
I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. Don't touch her.
So Bob has turned into a superhero/villain called The Void, and he's sucking everyone into a psychological torture chamber where you relive your worst memories and your most shameful past.
Always make it worse.
And then his mom just says, you'll always make it worse.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's not
That
fun.
look, it's not fine. That's brilliant acting.
He's doing something so difficult right now. He's accessing and showing you his inner child and trying to cover it up. And you get all of that just by looking at his face.
Yeah.
What I said to you before was wrong,
Brilliant.
Bob. You can't stuff it down. You can't hold it in all alone. No one can. We have to let it out. We have to spend time together. And even if it doesn't make the emptiness go away, I promise you it will feel lighter.
How do you know?
Because it already has for me.
In talking with her dad and in talking with him right now.
The stereotype of therapists is, you don't do anything. I pay you just to sit there. I'm the one who does all the work. I'm the one who, like, I let it all out. I express these things. You listen and you charge me.
Yes, correct.
No, incorrect. But listening is a crucial component of therapy. Listening without judgment and with love. There's a lot that I do that is helping people explore avenues they haven't explored, develop skills that they don't have, think of things that they haven't thought of. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But sometimes the most powerful thing is what Yelena does right here when she just sits and takes his hand.
Yeah.
When she says, the emptiness may not go away, but it'll get lighter if we don't stuff it down, if we do just let it out.
Yeah.
never underestimate the power of releasing something that you've been keeping inside. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with depression. If your depression is based on circumstances, if it's based on behaviors or thought patterns, there may be a cure.
Sure.
Right? You can change how you're acting, you can change how you think, you can stay connected, you can let things out, you can change your circumstances. Et voila, you're not depressed anymore, right? But with chronic depression, there may be no release from it for your entire life.
Right.
And you hearing me say that right now may feel like a hopeless statement, but here's the but. It can get lighter.
There are medications, there are treatments, there are things you can do to lighten the load.
And to be connected and to actually enjoy life. And to feel something other than emptiness or sadness, even though the emptiness and sadness is always going to be part of the equation. Now here's where we're going to dive into shadow work. Again, the notion that the parts of you that you find shameful, embarrassing, humiliating, or that they're not who you want to be, you feel like you'd be rejected, people knew, everybody has them, honestly. These are the things that we hide. These are the reasons that we lie, the reasons that we don't reveal our full selves, the reasons that we pretend to be something that we're not. We're not authentic, we're not open, and in doing so, we deny others the ability to truly love us. Because, as you've heard me say any number of times, to be loved, you have to be seen.
Yeah.
And to be seen, you have to be honest about who you are. And as long as you're hiding the shadow parts, you're denying others the chance to give you full love, as well as giving yourself full love.
We will always be alone.
Okay, I love this shot. It feels like this big visual effect shot to like, oh, we're gonna pull him away and we're gonna do all these things. And literally the shot where he's pulling away from them, they just put him on the dolly.
Oh, really?
And pull the dolly back.
Is that all you got?
But what does this represent? Self-loathing, self-hatred. I hate these parts of myself.
And trying to destroy those parts does what?
It just perpetuates it all.
This is what you want!
Because you can't fix yourself by hating yourself.
Dodge the minefield of his mind.
Which, you know, I wish real therapy was this epic and badass. Like, I mean, it is, but not visually.
Not as visually spectacular, and the score's not as good.
Right.
It will always be just us.
You're not alone.
Look, this is beautifully shot, but 9/10 of what's happening here is the score. It's so good.
Well, and the real emotion that everyone's feeling, including me, but also the people on screen. Thank you for not doing a hard cut out like you often do. But
that was for you, buddy.
I appreciate that. Well, and respect the experience, right?
Yeah. Connection is the opposite of addiction.
Yeah.
Connection is the opposite of loneliness.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obvious. But sometimes we need people to pull us back from the brink.
Mm.
No matter how alone you feel, and no matter how much you feel like you may have alienated everyone in your life, and no matter how much you feel like a terrible person who just wants to end it, there is someone who wants you around.
And if I could interject really fast, that someone may not even know it yet, or may not even know you yet. Like with the story of Bob and Yelena, they hadn't met at the beginning of this film, and now they're each other's lifeline.
Yeah, I mean, in like 3 days of story time.
So you could be like, well, it's nice for you to say that, Alan, but there's no one, I promise you. And it's like, no, go find them.
Yeah.
Start with a group therapy.
That's
It's an easy place to find them.
It's a very,
I'm very fortunate that during the two most difficult things I've been through in my life, the loss of a parent and the loss of a marriage, that I get emotional when she says, I'm here, you're not alone. And then they all just embrace him because I'm so blessed and fortunate I had people who did that. I also had, in both instances, people who withdrew because it was like they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to say. It gets awkward. It's like, this is such a huge loss. This is such a huge, painful thing. I don't have the right words to provide comfort, so I'm just going to hold back because I feel insignificant in the face of this. And it turns out that people don't need you to say the right thing. They don't need you to fix it. They don't need you to make it better. They just need to not go through it alone. When you're in your darkest place, you may be saying, well, where is my Yelena? Where's my person who's going to come hold me, say, you're not alone? And something to remember is she needed that. She needed that at the beginning of this film. Sometimes we need connection and we have to get the ball rolling. Yelena sees Bob suffering and she goes to be with him, even though she herself is still hurting. I know in my darkest times, like, I'm more prone to withdraw, right? And maybe wait for someone to come to me or just work through it on my own instead of saying, you know what, I'm suffering, others are too. And I can start creating this connection by finding someone else who needs it. I can be somebody else's savior, as it were, like she is here.
I've seen online some people griping about, oh, how can you have a superhero movie that doesn't end in a fight? Are you kidding?
Because we've had 50 of those already.
We've had 100 of that movie. This is the first time we've seen you end a superhero movie with all the bombast and all the spectacle and, everything that you expect from a superhero movie. But the fact that it ends with people pulling someone back from the brink of a fight is beautiful. It's interesting. Like, this isn't something I've seen in a superhero film before.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it is a beautiful and, like you were saying, psychologically accurate portrayal of how to deal with this type of crisis.
Yeah.
You're not going to deal with a psychological crisis by punching your way out of it.
There were scenes that we didn't watch of other people in the void facing their inner demons or their shadows, right? The things that they're most ashamed of.
Yeah.
But the answer for all the characters in the film is the same, which is we need love. We need unconditional love. And the thing about unconditional love, right there in the name, no conditions. I see you, I value you, I love you. There are conditions for relationships, right? If we're going to have a relationship, this, that, or the other needs to happen so I can feel safe, you can feel safe, seen, respected, what have you. But actually feeling and giving love, no conditions.
Right.
People don't always change with that. But if they're going to change, that's how they're going to. Because generally speaking, most of our most harmful behaviors towards ourselves and others, and our harmful attitudes towards ourselves and others, are based on a lack of love.
Yeah.
We mistreat others because we don't love them. We mistreat ourselves because we don't love ourselves. And so this big group hug, it's kind of reductive to say, oh, the big conflict ends in a group hug. And I'm like, do you know how many major traumas I've seen the resolution is a group hug and group therapy? More than a few. Do not underestimate the power of this, of feeling loved collectively by a group of people who see you and care about you.
And that's, as someone who has spent time in the void, this movie was so powerful for me. And listen, it deals with a real thing by putting it in a superhero context. This is why I love movies.
Yeah.
Is you can sneak in these psychological lessons to a couple 100 million Marvel fans.
Yeah.
Who are just there to see punchy, punchy, smashy, smashy, and then they get their feelings punchy, punchy, smashy, smashed. Fucking go Marvel.
If you haven't watched Thunderbolts, check it out, and please, please, go to the theater for good movies. So until next time.
So none of us can fly? We all just punch and shoot?
Avengers! With a Z. And
watch movies.
Watch movies.
We want to thank today's patrons, people who sponsor this show, and they get extended director's cuts, no advertisements, very good show over on our Patreon. People like
Offbeat Okapi,
Hi,
Joris Groen,
Sarah Adkins,
Danielle.
Thank you, patrons.
That was funny. Thank you. We needed that.
It's getting so tense in here.